Hello and welcome to this talk this morning. So nice to be here with you. I'm coming in from Alberta, Canada. I'd love to know where you're showing up from today, if you care to share. And if you don't, that's totally fine. Just sit back and relax. I invite you to come to this conversation with an openness, a willingness to hear something new or fresh, different, that might have an impact on how you carry about in your life after this call. I'm Michaela. Happy to be on here. Today we're going to be exploring, and it's entitled If Facts Don't Affect How You Feel, What Does? And if you've been on any other call with me or had listened to any of the tracks, you may have gleaned that what we're really feeling is our own thinking. What we think brings up an emotion, a feeling that we get to experience in the body. Hi, John from the UK. So nice to have you here. Welcome. Are you new to Insight Timer? Another question. Are you new to me? And a third question, which I'm always curious about. Have you ever heard of the three principles or any kind of, teaching around how we create in the world? That was a lot. Not to Insight Timer, but yes, new to you. Well, welcome. Pleased to meet you. So happy you're here. Hi, Diana. New to me. Awesome. Nice to meet you. Happy to have you here. And there is a track that I did. I'll point to three principles. Nope. Okay. Well, I'll give you a little bit about it. And actually, I would like to do a new track because hi, Christy, new to me from Colorado. Welcome from Colorado. Hi, Mick. Hi, Mick. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Welcome. Recently new. That's awesome. Yeah. I've seen you before, I believe. Yes. Yes. I'll suggest a track that I did. It was one of my first on Insight Timer, so it is a little bit rough. I think I can do a better. Yes. Yeah. And Mick says hello to everyone. I love the community here. I love the community. I love that we get to see each other in different places within Insight Timer, maybe with different teachers too. And John says, hello, Mick. Yes, love it. Love the connection. So one of my first tracks, it was Simplicity and Clarity with three universal principles. So I will do another, just really clearly and specifically as well as I can do here today, or when I do it in the next week. I'm actually going to make a note to myself to do a 3 principles track very specifically and clearly around that. But I will give a bit here too. And why I say, the best I can do today, or because we're evolving, all of us, we're all evolving all the time. And because you're here an Insight Timer, or, well, I have a sense of, I'm making that up with my thinking. Let's bring in today's topic about if facts don't affect how you feel, then what does? We'll explore facts and, what brings up a feeling if the facts don't. But we are always evolving. So everything, every moment of every day that we are present to, even those that we're not, it might come later. We might see something fresh and new about the occurrence in that moment, about what we witnessed. I see us kind of on a spiral, and it looks like it's going up. We've kind of something. It doesn't mean that we're not going to be faced with it, or maybe we use the word triggered by it at another time. And we might think, what? I thought I dealt with that. But these things, it's like once a thought is thought, it's in existence in the world. And what changes when we work through something is that well, here's one way of looking at it. I'll just put this out there. Almost like we create an immunity to it. Once we have an understanding of it, and people say we need to accept things that happened. And it has a feeling that feels like a whole nother talk about acceptance. It feels like we need to, like take it on and like it or that kind of thing. But really it's more just about an understanding of what we were experiencing and what we'll explore today. And actually, I do like to start with breathing. So let's go there and then we'll continue, shall we? So just in whatever this morning or in this moment, whatever time of day it is for you, just allow some full natural breaths to come in. I say full and natural. Sometimes that's two different things. Let's experience with some fuller breaths this morning, allowing the oxygen to come in and allowing your whole body to expand with it. If you were to just kind of hang out and consider like a full breath. Like I felt that in my legs. So let's just do a few more cycles of breath. Rather than, efforting to make it come full right down to the lobes of your lungs. It's like, let's allow it to move our whole body. What would that be like? And there's a certain openness that's almost asked of us to do that. What are you noticing? I just felt a little pull in my chest, like something's caught. for just a moment, what would it be like to breathe down into your toes? I talk about breath, it's like a cleansing of the palate of the mind, preparing you, clearing, preparing you for what's next to taste in life. Let's do some tasting. Let's taste this whole idea of facts. And what I'm suggesting is that we don't feel facts. Really, what we're feeling, what we're experiencing, is the feeling of our own thinking. So, the three principles, excuse me, for John and all of us, because for me too, when I speak about this understanding, and it's an understanding, these words were articulated by a Scottish welder who lived and worked on Salt Spring Islands in British Columbia, Canada. He worked at a mill, pulp mill, and he had an enlightenment experience that literally kind of blew his mind. It blew all kind of thought creation away to clearly reveal to him how the mind works and what we're experiencing from moment to moment. And it took him a while to come up with some words to describe it because, I mean, thank goodness we have words and language that we can articulate things, we can communicate way, and our words can be to things that we can't see, we sense or know. So he, over time, came to speak of it in this way. And he was clear to say, even though he's named these three principles just so he can speak to it, there's really only one, period. There's only one thing happening in constantly. But he identified them as mind, consciousness, and thought. Mind is a universal mind or impersonal mind. The mind, the energy, the infinite intelligence of that which lives, breathes, animates us, expresses through our body, this vehicle, uniquely through with the essence that each of us bring to this table of life, that each of us can only express through only this body, this vehicle that we've each been provided to move about in the world. Consciousness, that is all we are. But consciousness, awareness, it allows us to be aware that we have a body, that we are expressing, that not only are we expressing, we are experiencing our own expression, only own expression through feelings, the senses of the body and thought, the creative stuff of life, that which provides our experience. that which we are only ever experiencing is thought. We're all here in this community at this time right now, and we're all, I'm saying words, but I'm also hearing them. You're hearing them, you're seeing me saying them, and we're all having a different experience of it. It's because we're never really having an experience of something outside of us. We are only ever having the experience of our own thinking about it, about whatever it is within. It's like an inside out experience. So we think about something, we make meaning of something. I'm glad that connected with someone. We make meaning of it, and that is what we experience. We experience the feeling of that. So we'll demonstrate, we'll go through a couple of things today, different experiences. I'll share some examples, and I would love for you, if you would like to bring out some other situations or ideas or aspects of life that you would like to explore in this way. So the three principles, that's them. I'd like to make a distinction, and I'm just going to make a note about this, because when we talk about mind, universal mind or impersonal mind, it is that which we are mostly of. The physical and our personal mind, what we know, what we've learned, our brain will take snippets of and jam them together and create its own pieces of a puzzle of its own making. And that's why we all have different experiences of the same thing, because our experiences are conditioning, what we've learned throughout life, what we've been told, the beliefs, which are just thoughts that we've, clung to, agreed to, take forward and apply to the rest, to all aspects of our life. It's like a filter that we put them through. Our being conscious and says, that's what this is about. And as soon as we have this meaning that we've created, it produces a feeling. Now, the feeling could be neutral, or it could be happy, sad, angry, crazed, overwhelmed, depressed, anxious. So many different emotions that create so many different feelings in the body. So when we're following a personal mind, meaning, thought, personal mind, thought, that is not in alignment with the wisdom that is living and breathing you, and is only of love and freedom, kindness, peace, neutrality, joy, we will, if that doesn't align, you will feel tension, contraction, stress, illness, pain in the body. Your body is your ideal indicator. If you are allowing, because this infinite wisdom, it is guiding you and me 24/7, every moment of every day. Again, how do we know whether we're allowing, whether we're following that? It's going to feel good. It's going to feel pretty easy. Your body will be relaxed and open. You will just know. Or you will be kind of unbothered. You will be very unaware because everything is going so good. Everything is feeling rather easy. typically our attention to our body and what's going on is grabbed when there's pain or constriction or conflict. And that is just wisdom saying, hello, you're not listening to me. You're trying to do this on your own. You're making up stories innocently, innocently, because that's just how the mind works. It's just how the brain works. Happy this is connecting. So that is personal mind, impersonal mind, and how that kind of works. And then there's thought, from like universal thought, impersonal thought, wisdom, and then there's our, as Sydney Banks put it, little t thought, and wisdom thoughts are capital T thoughts. Yeah. So let's bring this to today and talk about facts. So I'm going to, I talk a lot about the body in here because, so I discovered this understanding. This, to me, it's a simple spiritual and psychological understanding of how the mind works, of just what we're experiencing. And it just makes it very clear, because when you understand, when you really start that the only thing that is ever scaring you, because I do see that fear is kind of something that is behind a lot that we experience, whether it's fitness or protectiveness or whatever. It's like it seems that fear is always the underlying emotion. When when you begin to see that the only thing that's scaring you is your own thing about something, it just allows a lot to be able to fall away. And then, because you're human and you think, that's what we do, we have a ticker tape of thoughts running through our mind all the time, 24/7, even in our sleep. Even if you don't remember your dreams, you are still affected by the thoughts that are going through your mind. If you've ever woken up like all tense and stressed, and it's like, oh my gosh, you can't remember maybe what you were dreaming, but you can tell by the state, the tension in your body, that it was a thought that was personal minded made, rather than one of wisdom, infinite intelligence. So here's an example. Oh, right. So I was telling you my story because I was going to bring the body up as an example. So I discovered this about 3 years ago, and so many things just fell away. I had a lot of drama, I would say. I mean, for me, it just felt like a lot of drama. If I was to compare it to somebody else, maybe not. Maybe more than others. I don't know. But there was a lot of tension within me. And when I discovered this, and it was almost like things just started to fall away without me even knowing that they fell away, until I started noticing that I wasn't responding to people or things in my life in the same way. So there was a lot of little annoyances that kind of dropped. And there were some that stuck around. About less than a year in, I was coached by someone who is very grounded in the understanding of the principles. Really, it's of who we are. And there's many spiritual teachers that are pointing to the same thing. So it's not new. This isn't new. It's just Sydney Banks's words, for some reason, I heard them. Maybe it was a timing thing. I don't know. My background is in energy work and the last number of years coaching as well. So I understood that we were energy. I had an understanding of this. I knew, I could see that healing happened, whether people were in the room. Like, how can that be? Because we're all energy. There's no distance. We're all connected. And beyond just us, like personally, like, John, Diana, Mick, Christie, it's like, and all the rest of you, here, it's like, it's not just about who we are personally, our people, these people with these names and these life experiences. Like, we are connected. We are part of the same energy. Of course, of course, we can affect change to occur. How I kind of see it is catalyzing change within. When I come here or in the other work that I do, I'm not healing or that kind of thing. I know that we have the same foundation. We are all equal here. We are all lived by the same infinite wisdom. So we can catalyze it. We can remind people in various ways, in questions, or sometimes getting beyond the psychological and going into the energy field and catalyzing the healing within. But you do it. We all do our own healing, right? That's really good to know. And we all do it. We're here for it. You don't have to learn how to heal yourself. It's just being open to be reminded. It's being open to remember. And yeah, so let's leave that like that. So I was coached. Healing is feeling. Hi, Claudia. Yes, yes. The feeling, everything is in the feeling. Everything is in the feeling. Hi. Nice to see you again. Everything is in the feeling. Not just Sydney Banks, but Sydney Banks does say, like, follow the good feeling. When I was coached, less than a year into getting into this understanding and like seeing for yourself, seeing for myself how this is true. I was coached around body, like my image of my body and how I just kept putting it in the way, like that it was an obstacle. And in that session, I could just so clearly see how I was not that, what it really is for me, and how it has been supporting my thinking, my attention all along, my whole life. It supported me when I was little, rolling, playing, swinging I grew up on a farm in southeast Saskatchewan, the youngest of 7, and my dad was very inventive. So he created a playground for us, a teeter-totter and a merry-go-round. And the merry-go-round was with a big, huge tractor tire laying on the ground. And then he welded. He was a welder as well, a mechanic. He was everything. He welded this contraption with these 4 arms sticking out and loops, and then we would tie ropes and then tires on them. So we could either run along the top of the tire and push, and then we'd swing out and we'd sit on top of the tire or inside the tire and fly. It was amazing. So my body was adapted to going around and around and around. Kinds of climbing trees, all kinds of stuff. Later, I enjoyed running, so I ran. I've run a marathon. I've run many 10Ks and half marathons and that kind of thing. My body conditioned to what my attention was focused on. When it's just like, yeah, I want to do that. I want to do that. And then I just kind of knew what to do. My body just came along. And somehow knew what to eat, how to feed it, how to give it fluids, whatever it needed. And sometimes there was a lot of thinking around it. And I made it very hard, way harder than I know it needs to be now. Later, I my body supported me in sitting at my desk all day long, working, and my activity level went way down. But my body supported me in the activity. What did it do? It got a little spread out, got a little heavier, but it was here supporting me, allowing me to sit up at this desk. And then a bit later, I started having to go to the chiropractor and I need a massage. And because I started feeling that what's going on, it's like, oh, what's going on? What's going on is I have this body that has all these joints and things and it's able to move. And I know we're not all able to move in the same ways, but we've been given something and it has an ability. So it kind of shows us like how it's made. It shows us what it's meant for. It's meant for all kinds of movement and what feels good. So what came up for me, it's like, wow, I'm not liking this. What do I want? What do I really want? I want to feel strong and healthy. I want to feel functionally strong that I can sit at this desk and sit up straight and feel good and not feel achy. I want to be able to reach down off to the side and pick something up and not have my spine catch where now I have to go get an adjustment because my muscles were not strong enough to, properly support my skeletal system in maneuvering about in the world. So our body is always supporting us in that way. I kind of got off track, all to tell you this one story about facts. So thank you for this, for being here and for participating. So let's talk about facts. Yesterday, I went out with a friend. I took the day off. I picked her up at 5:30 a.m. I got home at 11 o'clock last night. I live in the foothills of Alberta. So there's, mountainous and rivers and streams and all kinds of stuff around within not too long. So we were about 45 minutes away. So that was cool. There's so many stories in that whole day, but I'm just going to tell you one because it came last night. She sent me a video, and I say this because I'm using this as a demonstration because there is no easy button. If you were to say that there is an easy button, the only easy button I see is opening up to allow wisdom to guide. You don't even have to open up to it. It's happening. We're just not always, our attention is not always looking sort of inwards, listening for what it's guiding us to, right? So I kind of lost track of where I was going. Part of being human, I got sidetracked. There was a point. There's a point here. Oh, yes, I'm telling you this because even though I've seen so much about my body, I've become clear on so many things there, and I use my own personal life and experience and body as an experiment to test things out, right? That's the only way. I invite you to come to any conversation that you have with the intention not of, right, she's going to teach me something and then I'm going to go away and it'll just work for me. It's like, no, you got to test it out. See how it's true. Play with it. Notice. And it's just a noticing game. There's not a lot you really have to do, but even just noticing this, you will see so much and things will just automatically become less struggly for you. So for the last 2 years, I've been looking to the body and did all kinds of experiments. So last night I get a video from my friend and a couple of pictures that she took. And one of them was from me behind. It was going through this really cool pathway. And I was videotaping from the front as I was going through it because it's just like, this is so magical. And she was taking one of me from behind going through it. And guess what well, you don't have to guess. The first thing I thought is like, whoa, wow, I didn't know I looked like that. And I guess what I was looking at? I was looking at my hips. And my first feeling, we're going to use this as an example to break this out, this facts and what I'm really feeling. So when I looked at this and I felt this like, oh, huh. And it was a resistance. It was a resistance because, because obviously I think it should be different than what it is. So let's look at this. And here's what I notice. Check this out for yourselves. What I notice is that there are very few facts in any situation. In any situation that we are having, either that we're really enjoying or anything that we're not liking. We want it to be different. Whether it's about how we're seeing our own body, whether it's we're relating with somebody else. Claudia, actually, I disagree. There are quite a few facts. Yeah, okay, well, let's go into it because so there can be, it depends. What I'm getting to here is that for all of the emotion that is caused by all of the thinking, when you break it down into what are the facts here, there's very few facts compared to all of the experience, which is usually quite involved. So I would love to hear from you, Claudia. I'll share what the facts of this is that I see. The fact is, I have had a vision in my mind about what my body maybe looked at like from behind. Actually, it wasn't a conscious thought. I didn't know it until I saw this picture. So I saw the video and I saw that my hips are what they are. That's it. I saw my back. So my back, my hips, they are what they are. It's a fact. I don't know, like I didn't measure anything, but they're probably, so many inches around and there's so much, years ago there was when I go to a gym, when you first go, they measure, do calipers and they stick it everywhere, measure your your body mass index with it. It's one of the measurements and measurability and those things can be like, yeah, okay, the fact is that. So really, the facts are very. So if I were to measure, it's like, okay, my hips are this many inches around. That would be a fact. The picture was just like, that's what they are. It is what it is. But I didn't experience the fact of my hips. What I experienced was my thinking about it. My thinking that it should be different. Now, if my hips actually matched up to what my brain thought, what I was acceptable to me, I wouldn't have any feeling about it. It would be kind of neutral because they matched up. Unless they matched up and I had feeling about that. Like maybe it's like, yeah, I know exactly how you look like from behind. And still it's either am I okay or am I not? So when in our world, the contrastive world, we are made to compare, to contrast. Hot, cold, tall, short, wide, narrow. It's how we function. We actually need it in order for survival in our world. Hot, cold, we don't want to jump into a fire. We don't want to step off a cliff. So it's a natural part of it. But the only thing that we're ever experiencing, it's not the fact of it. It's the meaning we make of it. Claudia, does this give more? Well, that's for sure that facts are a minority. Okay. Does this uh, offer a better understanding of what I'm trying to say? And please, if there's something else, like here's the thing. We remember we are all experiencing different things, and you have experiences that I don't. I am the first to stand in line and say, show me new. Always, I I understand that we all live in a thought, our own personal minded thought created reality. And whenever I can see clearly, so instead of having this much thought in the way on this particular subject, if I can have a little bit of that fall away, I want it because it's going to offer a less conflictual experience of it. So yeah, if you have anything to share, and if you want to, you don't have to, then that's always, I welcome that because we're all here, we're learning together. We're all in this journey experiencing what we're experiencing. What if we could have less drama, less conflict? As long as we're human, because we're thinking humans, that's it, like thought and humans, that kind of goes together. As long as we're human, we're going to have some kind of conflict. I like conflict. Like, tell me more about that. I'm curious. I'm curious. I'll share another experience. Well, if please still respond to that if you'd like, because I am curious. We were in our we did a hike. We spent time with birds and beavers and looking for rocks, and I know we grew up in a farm. It was always a like this what do you call it? Like, because farmers typically we were grain and we had chicken when I was old enough to know. I know we had one point. But we were grain farmers. So when the field is cultivated, we picked up the big rocks. Claudia, I'm going to go back to this because I want to know. I enjoy when people are able to have constructive discussions and when there is this contrast as one learns through it. Yeah. Yes. That's awesome. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. This is how we learn. If everything was kind of vanilla, we wouldn't evolve as much, I would think. I don't know. I'm making that up. I'm saying it in the moment. I guess I know from my personal experience, but I bet when you're out and about with people, like in this conversation or at an event or whatever, like even yesterday, hanging out at this, it was a day use area in this stunning area in Alberta, but the river right there and trees and just a lovely peaceful place. And there was other people. What is important, Claudia says, is the intention when doing it. Yeah, absolutely. Your intention will drive your attention. It'll point you in a direction. And whatever you put your attention on is going to bring you your experience. So if you're looking for, ooh, let's do this and let's see if I could do it right this time, because I've done it before in the group and I messed it up. It's like telling a joke and messing up the punchline. But here's a great example of that. Just for 5 seconds, look around your room and look for squares just right now. Now, come back if you will, put in the chat how many squares or how many squares you saw. Audrey's got one in front of me. Head on. Sunita is 3. Hi, Sunita. Hi, Irma. 2. Now tell me how many circles you saw. Mick saw 1. Tell me how many circles, as it doesn't have equal sides. Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. How many circles did you see? And you saw circles too. Okay, cool. Sorry, did you see? Oh my God, I can see I did it again. Did you see the circles at the time when you were looking for the squares, or did you look around the room to see how many circles you could see? Because I did it again. I'm going to have to practice this. It seems like such a dang simple experiment. I don't know why I can't know when looking for the circles. Yes. Okay. The point I was trying to make is that whatever you're looking for, whatever you put your attention on, you looked around again, Sunita. Thank you for your honesty. No, subjective K. Subjective versus objective. Would everyone come to this conclusion? When you get trained on formal assessments, this what takes people the longest to overcome in certifications. Let me do this again. Let me read this again. Subjective versus objective. Would everyone come to this conclusion when you get trained on formal assessments? This is what takes people the longest to overcome in certifications. Would everyone come to this conclusion? Now, is this the circle one? I believe so. If this is what your question exactly is, Kay, I believe that whatever your attention goes to, that's what you're looking for. Whatever it is you're looking for. So when we talk about setting an intention, I think about it like attention. Because if we say intention is to be present to the moment. Well, in just being present, like even that, it's almost like maybe we'll explore another day too, this idea of presence. Because even it's almost like being at attention in awareness. So being present is almost just coming out of it. It's almost like being in how we not like the 3 principles, that it's always happening all the time. It's always available to us. It's like kind of sitting back in this natural space of awareness. And as soon as we give attention to something, and we will, there is a narrowing and almost a cutting off of other things. So when we're looking for a square, we are looking for this, and we might catch something else in the periphery, but mainly we're looking for one thing and we're getting what we're looking for. Kay says, my experience is that people use their experiences to view or make meaning of the world more than the facts. Yes, I see that too, Kay. Absolutely. It is like an automatic thing that happens with our brain. I know when I was a kid, like in school, and it was confirmed later in life too, where that our eyes, we have all these amazing senses. Our eyes will pick something up, and then the brain kind of goes through this Rolodex of all the experiences of the past and stories and some experience that you weren't even privy to, and it creates this story in mind. true, it feels true, feels true. We feel it in our body. Example, last at 9:30, and it's saying like, okay, I want to walk through is about a minute and a half or so walk down the way. It's like, okay, I'm getting to the point where I don't even want to go to the bathroom myself. We're in the woods. And we are, we went on anyway. So I could have been there because we packed up the truck and I could have been there and said, drive, drive, drive. I ignored it. I justified it. It's like, there's two of us. We're good. I had my bear spray. This is cougar country, bears. We're walking. We're about halfway there, and we can't see. It's too dark to see into the forest. And we hear this. I would call it a guttural, like a warning sound. We both like stopped in our tracks. You heard that, yeah? We spun and started what we didn't run because you don't run for cougars. And we didn't know what it was, but you don't run, you just very quickly walk. And as we're walking, I'm pulling out my spray, pulling off the tap. So in the moment, I heard in the moment, I thought growl. That's what I thought. I didn't think, oh, that sounds like a guttural kind of, none of that. It was like growl. And I thought teeth, fangs, claws. And I just moved. So in my mind, I couldn't even see anything. I just heard something. But this vision popped up in my mind, this story. So it's like a safety thing. Our system is made to do that. And it's really good to know that, because when any moment that we're feeling anything in our body, you can just know that we're making it up. No matter what senses we're using, we're making it up. It just happens automatically. It's part of the system, is how it works. What's really helpful is understanding that and knowing that, oh my gosh, I'm so, frustrated with my son for putting his dirty lunch dishes from yesterday on the cupboard in the morning and leaving them for me I can go there. And it's just like, oh, so what are the facts? He unpacked his lunch kit in the morning. The dishwasher was full. He chose not to empty it. He chose to put his own. So those are facts. He chose not to empty his lunch kit last night. That's a fact. What I made up. So if I just look at all those facts, there's no emotion there. There's nothing. There's just a fact. Where the emotion came in was thinking that, why doesn't he help out more? Why can't he do it the night before? Put up the dishwasher, and I have to do it. No, I have to do it. No, I don't have to do it. All of the rest was me. So at times when we're feeling all caught up in stuff, if we just take a moment, and it may not happen right away, right? But once you start to catch this, you'll take a moment and like, what are the facts here? Okay. Everything else is made up story. Let me come back in and see what you're sharing. Claudia, also not giving attention to something and trying to run away from it doesn't serve either. You're right. Yeah, you're right. If there's something to do, here's the thing. Wisdom, if there is something to do, wisdom will let us know that. But if we stick our head in the sand because we don't want to deal, it's never the situation or the facts that we don't want to deal with. What we don't want to deal with, why we'll hide or avoid, is because of the feeling that our thoughts about it have produced in us. It's like, oh, heck no. I don't want to go there. I don't want to deal with that. Let me go, you know, watch a show, do whatever it is that we do, our coping mechanisms for relieving ourselves of that. And I've talked about this before, but all that's happening, we're not actually getting relief from it. I mean, we are, but it's temporary. And it's only temporary because all we're doing is putting our attention, we're distracting ourselves from the feeling of the thinking that we have about that thing. As soon as we bring our attention back, if we haven't, had a moment to notice that, oh, I'm making this up. I'm thinking that my son is like doing this on purpose. He's not out to get me. He's not out to like make me do all his dishes. He's just doing what he's thinking in the moment, what makes sense to him in the moment. And we can work something out. Hey, I don't know, whatever it is. Do it the night before or put them in the sink. Like what feels better? What would feel better for me? How can we work together? But being really clear that the only thing that I'm experiencing is my own feelings about it. And Claudia, maybe another fact could be that you have said to him to do it. Yeah, it could be. Absolutely. So the fact is I have asked him, can you just do this when you get home from work? And then it's done. And that could be a fact. In and of itself, there's no emotion there. Michaela asked him to do it. He didn't. Those are just facts. Now, and then the feeling in the body, the tension and all of that comes up. He shouldn't have. Why does he? Why doesn't he? All of these things that are just stirring up all kinds of it's like this is like protection. What the word that came up was defense. Like I'm defending my fight. I'm defending my feeling of, upset. That's all protection. Why do we protect? Because of fear that we're being taken advantage of, that we're, that me, one of the things that I will explore that here too, because it's great to explore things that you've seen a little bit about, but you're not it's still, things still carry on in our life. Time for me is one. So for me, it's just like, it's not so much, it took, like less than a minute to stick them in the dishwasher or to stick them in the sink and for them to be dealt later. But for me, I'm afraid of not having enough time. And I've come to see some new things about it. I can see that I'm making it all up. I have so much time that I can do things with. And what do I choose to put my attention on to do in those times? I want to do it all. And then it feels like, oh my God, I got so many things to do. And now he's given me one more thing to do. It's really, it's really kind of funny and enlightening when you get to see, when you're willing to see how you're making some stuff up, how there's, you're always kind of, you're always looking to feel better in some way. And some of the things that we do to try to feel better, like defending ourselves in this way, trying to get someone else, Rob, my husband, William won't Do the, poor William. It's such a simple thing. And uh, yeah, he's great. He does so many other things. It's just one of those little, we all have little things that we do that can irritate someone, right? Breaking it out into those facts. Hi, Christine. Nice to see you. Thank you for making it funny and enlightening. This is a big relief. I'm glad. I'm gonna have to start using a different example so William doesn't feel singled out. He's lovely. But it's these things that can get triggered within us. And when we can look at it and know really that it's not the facts of the situation that are a problem or that's having us feel. I mean, it could be. It's like, ooh, okay, well, this is something. It could be a problem. It could be. It could look like that. So it's like, oh, okay, but there will be something to do about it. And when we and it is a practice of, okay, what's feeling good to do, what makes sense to do right now, rather than trying to figure it out or blame or complain or criticize and build this sort of mushroomed story around the stem. What's the stem? What's the story? I mean, not the story. What are the facts? So discerning fact from fiction, it can really help us get clear and be so much more helpfully responsive in our lives. Is there anything that this sparked, or is this was this helpful? Gotta go now. Okay. Yes. Nice to see you, Claudia. Thanks for being here. Nilu, hi. How do we relieve the body pain? I experience many different types of pain in my young age and trying to figure out the channel to release them. Nilu, yes. So I'm going to answer this. And I'm also going to do maybe a talk or even a track or something like that around it. So not that this is simple. Not that this is simply. Hi. Just you. So when you consider what we were talking about before about attention and the feeling, and also maybe considering my story about how my body adapted to what my attention was on. So my body adapts to support whatever it is I am sort of instructing it to do for me. So remembering that it is the vehicle through which we express and experience through the sense of the body that expression. So what I see is that, yeah, you bet, Nilu. What I see is that and this is sort of a natural, it's kind of yeah, this is what happens when there's something that's not working for us. We have pain. I'm going to use weight because that's something that I had all of my life. It's been something that's been on my mind. And even the last 2 years of my experimenting is partly around that and partly about, well, kind of around that. Although it's different because I know that losing weight, that's not what I want. I want a feeling. I want to experience something. So when we're looking at pain, we're so focused on the pain and getting rid of the pain. When we want to lose weight, let's say, we're so focused on the weight and the losing of the weight. But the thing is that the energy of that. Okay, now I'm going to bring in some. Here's what I see about the three principles. If you know anything about the spiritual laws of the universe, which include, I mean, there's a number of them, but include vibration and attraction. I see the three principles sort of encapsulates all of that, but I'm going to split them out here a bit to speak about vibration and attraction separately. When we are all energy, our when we have a thought about thought is energy. When we have a thought, if I'm looking at pain in my body, the thought I have about that, it vibrates at a lower level. It is and it doesn't feel good, right? Because I'm focusing on that. If I'm focusing on getting rid of it, I'm still focusing on that. I'm still focusing on the pain. And whatever you're giving your attention to, that is what you are going to get more of. Why? Because like attracts like. So when we want to stop something or get rid of something or let something go, the answer is not in putting your attention on that and figuring out, how am I going to let that go? So what we do when we want to lose weight, we look to, okay, I need a diet. I need to change my diet. That means I got to deprive myself of something that I really want. It means I got to go to the gym or do a bunch of exercising that I don't like and I don't want. Well, what is the energy of that? It is a lower vibration energy. It's actually keeping you stuck with what you don't want in the way of pain. I haven't had long-term body pain, so I can't imagine that. I mean, I could, but it wouldn't be exact. Like, we can never imagine another's. We can get a sense of, but I can't know what it's like. What I do know is that when I've had painful things that have, the more I focused on the pain of it, and even after taking pain medication, just focusing on pain and the wanting to get rid of it, and when is this going to stop, and do I need to take another? Can I take another? All of the energy was around that. And I was just getting more. I was experiencing it more. So instead, ask yourself, what do I want instead? What do you want? More, as in, so you might say the words pain free. I'm going to invite you to take the word pain right out of there. And what is it that you want? Pick up your attention and look in the other direction. Remember, we are in a contrastive world here. There is one stick. On one side is pain, on the other is what? Is it? It'll be individual. It'll be different for all of us. You nailed it. You explained it simply. Oh, okay. Do I need to go further? I'm glad you got this. That you want to feel. Ultimately, the feeling will guide you. Yes, please. Yes. So what is the feeling you're looking for? Is it that you want to, so in my mind, what I'm just now, like yesterday, we went for a little bit of a hike. I was puffing. It wasn't that big of an incline. I was puffing. It's like, wow, this is interesting. I had an contrast come up when I was in a different kind of body shape. When I was doing hiking, when I was doing a little bit of running, not that I don't know that I'll ever do a marathon again. It wasn't that. It was like when I was in a different kind of shape, I could breathe easily. I wasn't huffing and like wheezing a bit going up a hill of this size. So it gave me some information. So it's just like, okay, well, what do I want? Wow. I want to be able to hike up this very simple hill and just like do, 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 and not be, like labored at the top. Okay. What's the feeling of that? I'm doing this in real time here. The feeling of that is like it's energetic. It's lighter. It's almost like the word that comes up for me is spry. The feeling is like easy. It's like free. It's, yeah. Those are the words that come up, and there is a feeling to that. When I see me at the top of this hill and what I'm experiencing, I'm talking clearly. I'm not stopping to like catch my. I'm talking all the way up at the top. I'm still conversing. So it's just like in that there was an ease. There was like an open path. So what is that for you? What do you want to experience? And go to the feeling of it and be clear about why. Like the why will take you to a feeling. Like maybe there's something that is in the way that you believe that the having pain is sort of the obstacle to. So it's so I don't know if you have children or I can't, but if there's maybe you have a pet and you would like to be able to like crouch down or sit, cross-legged, crisscross, or kneel or whatever down and pet your pet. And there's a feeling to that. There's an ease to that. There's a freedom to that. But it's like, why? Why do you want it? What is it that you're getting? You have grown-up children. Yeah, right. So whatever it is that you would like to do, one way to kind of help you identify is like, what do you feel it's holding you back from? What do you want? Why do you want something other than what you're getting? So really getting clear on the feeling of that and just gently question yourself. Okay, well, Michaela, why do I want to, climb this hill and not have to stop and catch my breath at the top? Ah, well, just so I feel easy. It just feels easier. It feels lighter. It feels like I can enjoy everything more if it wasn't that laboring that's involved. And yet, I like the labor of something. I like to work hard, but it's different. Was that helpful? Was that helpful, Nilu? Or anyone else? I'm I would love to hear, and I'm just going to continue and close that off with we are always on a quest to go home. Christine, Michaela, I've been practicing this, and last night I had a wonderful dream that I walked without crutches. Oh my gosh, Christine, that is beautiful. That is taking you in a direction. Nilu, for sure. Thanks so much. You're welcome. You're welcome. Here's the thing. I know that anything is possible. We might call them miracles, but I truly believe. Oh, gosh, I believe, I believe in some areas more strongly than others. Honestly, there's still some areas in my life that are a little bit sticky, but I'll get there because I'm willing. I want to see. I truly believe that it, infinite intelligence, like infinite possibility, is all that more of what we are than what we think that this body and this little mind has in store for us. There is so much more available. That is a place where we might call miracles. I believe that's possible. I've seen it. I've seen things happen that even just a difference in how I respond personally, what I've seen in people that I've worked with, that was like, oh my gosh, you did it. Like how she was in pain. And the only way she could get up is like pushing against the table or whatever was around her and walking along the walls to get where she needed to go. She having to have something. And she just, same process, the same thing that we just did is like, what do you really want? Get really clear on the feeling of what it was. And beyond, and it was a feeling of just ease. It was just ease and simple. And it was just something that it was almost like a decision. Truly, it was attention. When we put our attention on something, we are making a decision. We're not deciding for that anymore. We're deciding for this other that feels good. Nilu, I also believe in miracles happen in our bodies. Absolutely. It's available to all of us. And in whatever degrees. And here's the thing, as long as we can put our attention with what spirit, what our wisdom wants us to go, it's always leading us back to freedom. We're always looking back to be free, to be peaceful. That is our natural state. Our natural state is well-being of mind, body, soul. That's the natural state. So looking to that has our body stepping in because it's being guided, it's being lived through, allowing wisdom to lead and guide us once we've connected with, this feeling of ease, this feeling of, what does it mean to me to be able to scoot up this hill? It's a relatively small, and feel freedom to breathe, to feel comfortable, to feel whatever it is that wants to be felt. Put in your situation, your circumstance, because it's outside of you. Go from the inside. I think I'll leave that there for today. I hope this was helpful. I'd love to stay in touch. If you are not already, please follow. And it's great to be in conversation. I appreciate your involvement. That's great too. So, oh dear, I'm not prepared. I don't know what is when I'm just going to look on this. Nope, I can't. That's okay. I'm going to go back to where I was. That's not it. I'm so sorry. Oh, there we go. There. Thank you, Nilu. I so appreciate that. Thank you very much. Hi, Elena. You're welcome, Elena. Yeah. You're welcome, Christine. Happy weekend to you too. So appreciate it. I know I'm live a couple of times next week. I'm so sorry. I can't think about what it is offhand. But if you follow me, you'll get to see, or just search me up on there, wherever you found me then. Yeah, it's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure. And we'll see you again. Have a lovely one. I love y'all. Ciao.